We have already completed section 1, the right front, section 2, the right back, section 3, the right side, section 4, the right side seam, section 5, the left back, section 6, the right front, and the last section we've knit is section 7, the left side. So now it's time to work section 8, the left side seam. And just like we had in section 7, this is also a mirror image of this one here, or not so much a mirror image, it is actually the exact same thing that we have done here in the other side seam. So we're going to just repeat what we have done on the other side to close the side seam on the second side of our sweater. In the setup of the side rows at the beginning, I have worked until I have reached the sleeve stitches that I'm going to place on hold. I've ended my row here with a knit 1 because this is now going to be my edge stitch, and I'm going to place the sleeve stitches on hold on a piece of waste yarn. So you have half of the stitches before the marker and half of the stitches on the other side of the marker plus the center stitch. So there is one more stitch to place on hold after the marker. The remaining stitches of the row that are towards the end of the row after the sleeve stitches on hold, I'm going to slide them onto the cable on hold. And I'll continue working with the stitches that are on my right hand needle from the beginning of the row. After I've knit the right number of rows here for the extra rows at the beginning, I'm going to break the yarn and then slip all those stitches from my left hand needle back to my right hand needle. And then I'm going to slide them onto the cable of my circulars on hold. So there's no stitches on the needles anymore, but we still have the stitches that have been placed on hold at the end of the row. After the sleeve stitches on hold, I'm going to slide them back to my left hand needle, and I'm going to work my extra rows at the end here now. I finished the extra rows at the end. I'm going to bring the stitches from the beginning back onto my right hand needle, and then I hold those two needles parallel to each other in my left hand with the right side facing each other and the wrong sides facing out. You want to have the needle tips facing the sleeve stitches that are on hold. And with a third needle, I'm going to bind off and close the side seam. And with a third needle, I'm going to knit one stitch of the front needle together with one stitch of the back needle. And I'm going to repeat that with the next two stitches. And when I have two stitches on my right hand needle, I pass the first stitch over the second and off the needle. And that's what I'm going to repeat. Knit two stitches together, one from the front needle and one from the back needle, and pass the first over the second. And I'm going to repeat that until there are no more stitches on my two left hand needles. If you're an English style knitter, the 3 needle bind off looks like this. You knit one stitch of the front needle together with one stitch of the back needle, and then you pass the first stitch over the second and repeat. When you have only one stitch on each needle, you finish one last pass of knitting those 2 stitches together and passing the first stitch over the second. Then you break the yarn and pull the tail end through this last loop here and pull to secure and tighten. And now we turn back to the right side and we can see our body of our little sweater is finished. So the body of our little sweater is finished. It rolls up a bit because it is reverse stockinette and it rolls, so it might look a little shorter than it's going to be when it's finished. But what you can see is that we have those 2 holes on the sides where we're going to work the sleeves next, and the hole in the middle here where the neckline is, and it's going to be a little lower on the front than in the back. And below here we're going to add our hemline in 2x2 ribbing. So we're going to work 2x2 ribbing top down from here. But this is the body of the sweater finished.